It's Absolutely Auburn, a place where we'll talk about all things Auburn, Maine, because we're in the middle of it all. The City of Auburn's communications team is dedicated to helping you connect with city government and learn everything you need to know about Auburn, our city, our people, our events, and our community. Welcome to Absolutely Auburn.
On this episode of Absolutely Auburn, we have Renee Bucknell and Jody Collins, two recreation specialists in our rec department, to talk about age-friendly programming and our amazing senior center. What does age-friendly mean? Tune in, you'll find out, and you'll also learn about all the amazing trips and fun things that are happening in our community at the senior center. Welcome back to Absolutely Auburn. I'm your host, Jenn Bonig, and joining me, as always, in the studio is our fabulous producer, Abby Warren.
Good morning, Jen.
Morning, Abby. And also joining us today are Renee Bucknell and Jody Collins, who are both recreation specialists with our recreation department. So welcome, ladies.
Thanks.
So our listeners should know that since 2019, Auburn has been an AARP certified age-friendly community. And we kind of throw that term age-friendly around here in the office, and I'm not going to lie. I mean, I guess I know what it means, but did I really know the definition? Probably not. So what does age-friendly mean? That means we are committed to making our community more welcoming, more accessible, more livable, and more inclusive for people of all ages. Because in our community, we have people of all ages. And our goal is to make it easier for people to stay connected. And we need each other. We need a community. And in our last episode, we spoke with Sarah and Heath from the recreation department. And they talked to us about youth and adult sports opportunities, camp opportunities, different things. But Renee and Jody are here because they are focused on our age-friendly programming and our amazing senior center facility, which is gorgeous. If you haven't been there, you really should go check it out in Pettingill Park. Can you ladies share a little more about what you do as a recreation specialist serving the age-friendly community and how long you've been with the rec department? And Renee, we'll start with you.
Sure. So I've been with the rec department for just about 2.5 months, so it's all sort of new to me, but I'm learning quickly. And my role with the senior center is mainly to coordinate programs on site at the center. So I try to make connections with people in the community or organizations that might be able to offer workshops, creative outlets, things for people to be a part of in our center. So I mainly coordinate those, schedule them, and help people sign up for the programs.
Excellent. And how about you, Jody?
I have been with the Senior Center since April of 2021. So just going on 2.5 years here. And my primary role is all of our off-site activities. So we are very fortunate in this community to have a passenger bus that we can take folks to pretty much anywhere in the state of Maine, sometimes a little out in New Hampshire. And so that's my job, is to schedule those trips and take folks on those.
Excellent. So Jody, what does a typical workday look like for you?
There is nothing typical about it. I'm not going to lie. I know a lot of people say that, but with having trips pretty much everywhere, I can have trips sometimes in the busier season. I will have trips sometimes 4 and 5 times a week. I do schedule them 7 days a week. So I try to spend as little time in the office as possible because I like to get folks out in the community to be doing things and having new experiences with their friends. So it really just, this week alone, I have 4. So it's just great. We go from going to the Freiburg Fair today. Today we're going to the Maine Duck Boat Tour and things like that. So we do pretty much everything.
Yeah, it was a little hard to nail you down to get a time to get Jody in the studio.
Yes.
She's like, no, I have a trip that day. No, I have a trip that day too. So yeah, which is good. That's good. We're getting people out and doing fun activities and, having new experiences. What about you, Renee? What does a typical workday look like for you?
So typically I start the morning in the office and I have a little bit of downtime to do email and voice, check my voicemail. And then people start coming in. I feel like we have programs most every day of the week. And speaking of that, if people are interested, we have calendars on site so people can come in and grab the calendar and you'll see that there's something going on most every day. So oftentimes by 9:00, I'm greeting folks, coming into the center, helping them set up for the program for the day.
So I have to admit, when I first started here, I hadn't been to the senior center. I didn't have any reason to go, quite frankly. So I went to the senior center for some reason, some activity, and I certainly had some preconceived notions walking through the door. When I think of senior centers, I think of bingo, probably because my aunt loves to play bingo. If there's a bingo game, my aunt is there. And I'm sure bingo happens in the senior center. But when I walked in, folks were coming in. Some people were sitting down working on a puzzle. Some people were just chatting. People were bringing in some snacks and goodies. The one thing I noticed is they all greeted each other. Everyone knew everyone. And yeah, it was just a different, I don't know, a different vibe than what I expected. It was definitely a more lively, friendly group of people. And I don't know why. I mean, I would have assumed they would be friendly, but it was just different from what I expected. So what are some of the programs and activities that are going on at the senior center, Renee, that you can share with us?
Yeah, it sounds like you might have come one of the days during our drop-in days, which we have on Friday mornings. And people do come, and it is a great little community. They have a blast. They play games. Some people do puzzles, like you were saying. There is a group that does crafting in the morning, often on Friday mornings. And then we even have some groups that just come. We have one group that comes and does like a small support group once a month. So we have a whole mix of people there on Friday. The center is open. There's coffee, tea. Sometimes people bake things. Sometimes we offer food. It's just a great community feel on those Fridays. So that's a drop-in day. Some of the other things that we have weekly yoga classes. We have 3 yoga classes on site. Emma Sampson is our yoga instructor. She's amazing. And she really adapts to the people in the class and sort of makes the class fit people's needs. So she's really great at that. You would see those on the calendar. We often have an art type or craft type activity going on each week. I've been partnering with LA Arts recently and have some artists coming in to run some workshops for folks. That's awesome. They look great. The out products, what the people will be creating look amazing. So I'm super excited for those. And let's see, what else? We also have a Thursday night crafting night, which is an independent night where people come in with their own crafts. But again, it's just a community feel. They come in, I put out tea, they sit and talk and do their crafts. And that's on Thursday nights, 5:30 to 8. So a whole variety of things are going on there during the week.
Yeah. Well, and that, again, just being with other people and that socialization, even if, like you said, people are bringing in their own projects, but they're still together and can chat and, still work on their project, but they're still making other connections, which is nice. Yeah. Now, Jody, I've been so excited to talk to you about the trips. Now, specifically, the mystery lunch trips.
I've heard a lot of rumors about these cool trips.
I was telling Abby about it. I said, oh my gosh, when Jody comes in, we're going to talk to her about the mystery lunch trips. And of course, Abby's like, well, what is that? So for those who don't know, can you explain to us what the mystery lunch trip is and kind of, I guess, how you started that and
Absolutely.
What is it?
So I started those in July of last year. And one of the main things that I've come to see over my time here running trips is that if it has food involved in it, they want to go. It does not matter where it is or anything. And just a lot of things I've seen, taking people places, a lot of the times they're eating the same thing. And I'm like, I want them to experience new places, new things, new areas while supporting businesses in the community and in our general area. So July of last year, I started a mystery lunches. It started off slow. While it was very popular, it did start off slow. And I would do about one a month, and they have no idea where they're going. Typically the trips are anywhere from a half an hour to 45 minutes away from Auburn, from Pettingill Park, where we leave from. And then I've had some absolutely wonderful responses from restaurants welcoming us with open arms, a group of 15 senior citizens. They love having us. And it's just been a lot of fun. And I've had a lot of times people ask me how I get my ideas. Well, social media is a fantastic resource for me. People do, you see, hey, where's your favorite restaurant? And 50 people respond. So I start checking out those places, looking at reviews, looking online for pictures. Can they seat 15 of us?
Yeah.
And then just reaching out to those folks and doing them. So with that being said, as it grew in January of this year, the Sun Journal decided to do an article. It exploded. I would do sometimes 2 a month. And then I started throwing in adventurous taste buds trips.
Oh.
So a lot of folks, our first one was actually to a sushi restaurant. I did get some looks, but it was fantastic because we would have, say, a group of 4 that were friends together that came on the trip, and they went out of their comfort zone and ordered something they normally wouldn't and split it between the 4 of them to try new things, which I think is fantastic. So I really do enjoy doing that. They try every trick in the book to figure out where we're going. They'll have friends that aren't on the trip asking me where we're going. I promise I won't tell. So no, they don't know until we pull into the parking lot.
And now, didn't you tell me too, sometimes you'll take a longer roundabout route so that you can throw them off?
Absolutely. I've done that more than once. We do have some of our folks that are walking maps essentially and think that they know where they're going. And I think the longest I've ever gone is probably about 4 miles out of the way just to take a different route. Or
throw them off.
Yep, exactly. It's fun.
That's amazing.
I love that. And it's all, and I get it. I know I'm again, that kind of creature comfort. You order very similar things everywhere you go because you're like, well, I know what I'm going to get if I order this. And you might miss out on something that is really delicious because you're not adventurous. So maybe I should come on an adventurous food trip.
And I think the biggest reward for that is to know when folks go back with their friends or with their families to these same restaurants because they did love them so much.
Yeah,
right.
That's special.
Now, you said you get a lot of ideas through social media. When you're planning these trips, whether it's mystery lunches or just the trips in general, I know you mentioned the Freiburg Fair, which is happening this week. And that's one of the most, I think, popular fairs, certainly in this area. It's a very large fair. Do you get input from the group? How do you kind of decide? Do they kind of throw out, hey, Jody, we'd like to go here?
Yes. I actually put out a trip wish list box last year.
Oh, cool.
So it is anonymous and it has just a couple of questions on it, places they'd like to go, best day of the week for that person, and also a price range they were thinking. I think when I first started, I had a notion in my mind that everything had to be $5 or under, or else people wouldn't go. And that is so wrong. Some of our most popular trips with the longest waiting lists are more expensive trips that would go to plays and things like that. But I absolutely love getting recommendations from the group, and I get a lot. And I've probably done maybe 75% of the ones that have been put in that wish list box.
Wow. Nice.
Yes.
So that kind of goes into my next question. Is there a cost to participate? So it sounds like it's probably based on the trip and where you're going.
Yep, it is definitely based on the trip and where we're going. For instance, the mystery lunches, it's a $2 shuttle fee for Auburn residents. And then for any of our trips for non-residents, they are a little bit more expensive. But I still think compared to other rec departments in the state of Maine, we're definitely a lot less inexpensive for trips. And I try to keep everything reasonable and definitely have trips for the month in a range of price ranges to suit everyone.
So programs and trips, it is open to obviously Auburn residents for sure, but folks who live outside of Auburn can participate?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah,
Nice.
we have a number of people from neighboring towns that come in every week.
Oh, wow.
Well, I'm going to be honest. I've tried to encourage my parents. They're active, and I'm like, you guys really should go check out the senior center. And I think even in their mind, while they know they're seniors, they don't feel like they're seniors. So they're like, well, we don't want to go there.
Yeah. I mean, I think once you get over, it's funny. My parents my mom just retired and she got the senior discount at the YMCA for so she's like really excited about it. But I think there is, we do have a stigma that's unnecessary, but it does exist, I think, around senior activities, which is maybe why the term age friendly came about as well. Right. But I think if you can get over that hump necessarily in your mind, like there's a real power and in connection, especially like later in life when, maybe your community is not as big as it once was, right. Like being able to go to the senior center. And I'm really glad to hear that people who aren't residents of Auburn can still take advantage of that because, in smaller towns, they might not have the same resources that we have here. So that's huge. And I think, right. Hopefully your parents can get there, Jen, because my mom loves being a senior. She takes advantage of all the discounts.
I'm working on it. About how many folks do you serve at the senior center? Do you have any idea, and whether that's, I don't know, weekly, monthly, yearly? Do we even track stuff like that?
So we do track it. And we track it as touches. So essentially anybody who enters the door, and that does not include people, though, that just come in to chat, find out a little bit more information. It's every program we offer, and we have a few local senior groups that meet with us on Mondays and Wednesdays. And while they're not part of the rec department, we help them out with a lot of things, and they're there. And those are the groups that will come in, have a meeting in the morning, and then play bingo in the afternoon. So my first year here, our touches were roughly 4,000 people.
Oh, wow.
For the year. Last year, we were, I think, around 11,000. Wow. And this year, we're probably going to be close to 13.
That's amazing.
Wow. So that's
people
a lot
are coming back.
Congratulations.
Out after COVID.
It is. They
right.
are coming out. We have people from all over. It is fantastic. And I think that's just a credit to how many people we can help serve, too. Because for folks who don't know, we're actually also part-time employees.
So how many? So
30.
Oh, yep. I didn't know that.
But you said you can do programs like 7 days a week.
If I choose to, yes. It doesn't mean I'm working all 7 days a week. Okay. But if I choose to run a play on a Saturday, I can do that. So we set up our programming for days and times how we choose, which is really how the rec department runs, because we're not in a regular,
you're not a Monday through Friday.
Yep, exactly. Yeah. So a lot of times if a matinee, they may not have a matinee for a show during the week, but they do on a weekend. And that's my choice. And I love to take them. And so we'll set up programs on the weekends and stuff as well.
So you guys that's amazing. I had no idea, but you're doing a lot in those 30 hours, clearly.
Now, the senior center is a great space. And I know a lot of people are usually looking for places to hold events and gather and do things like that. So are residents able to rent or reserve the facility? You mentioned other groups that come in. I guess, how does that piece work? Can anyone kind of...
Yeah, if anyone is interested in renting the facility for, say, a meeting, we have a group coming in it's their condo board, so they rent the space for that. So if they have a need like that, they would just contact me, and I would let them know the rates per hour, sort of the different spaces that we have available. We have a small meeting space, we have the large meeting space, and then we have the full center. So there's a lot of options, rates, and kind of regulations vary based on days of the week and time of the day and things like that. So people would just reach out to me at the senior center and I'd help them work through that. Yeah.
It is a great space. I know we had, as the city employees, we had a holiday luncheon at the senior center in December, and what a great setup. It was a great way for all of us to gather in one space. There was, enough space to put out food, and there's a kitchen there. And obviously, I know with us being the city, whether people have access to all those facilities or not when they rent it, I'm not sure. But
yep, those are all options on the rental agreement. Some people can opt to use the kitchen or not. So there's different things based on their needs.
Right. Nice. So you can kind of do whatever. Now, you mentioned a calendar. People could pick up a calendar on site in the senior center. And I know we also have that calendar of events, and usually the latest rec book on our website. And if you go to auburnmaine.gov And you can find the event calendar by hovering over Experience Auburn tab at the top and go to recreation, and you'll kind of come to a landing page where you'll see those calendar of events. You can see that latest rec book, which shows all the programming, shows the trips that you've got going on, Jody, kind of shows all of that. I think even the rental information is on that landing page too. So all of that stuff is there. You can find that on our website, auburnmaine.gov. You could also, I'm sure, just put in the little search tab bar thingy, whatever you want, and it'll pop that up too. So what is the most interesting part of your job? And I know, Renee, you're newer to the rec department. So for you and your time here, what's been the most interesting part of the job?
Honestly, so far, it's been just meeting the people and hearing their stories and getting a chance to connect with them. They're fabulous. It's a great group of people that come in. It's a wonderful community to be a part of. So I think the most interesting thing is just talking with the seniors each day.
And what about you, Jody? What's the most interesting thing?
I think for me, it's getting people out and about to experience new things. For some of these folks, they've lived in Auburn, some of them 50, 60 years, and we'll go to places that are a half an hour from here and they've never been or never even heard of it. So I think that's the best thing that I love about it, the experiencing with them.
Just expanding their access.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Well, like I said, you get in your comfort zone, you get in that bubble, and I get that. There's lots of things that I still haven't experienced in the area, and I grew up here and left for a time and came back. But what is your favorite thing about Auburn? And it doesn't have to be work related. And Jody, I'll start with you.
I would say one of my favorite things about Auburn is being away from it all, but being close enough, say 15 minutes to a half an hour, to being in the thick of it. I love this area due to that. I came from a very congested area in another state. So having the relaxed comfort of being in a city, but also feeling like anywhere you want to get to is within an arm's reach.
Mm-hmm. And what about you, Renee? What's your favorite thing about Auburn?
I guess I would echo that. It has a small town feel with a lot to do. So I really like that about Auburn. You can always find things to do, whether it's down here at the city center or at the senior center. But you also just have that small town feel in the neighborhoods. So
yes.
You know what I really appreciate is how many people we've had come on the show who say variations of the same thing. But I don't mean that in a bad way. I think, that speaks to how, like you said, Renee, the community, even though you're working maybe with a different community than some other people we've spoken to, people always have amazing things to say about the people they work with, whether it's their coworkers, but also the people they serve, like the seniors. It's just, I think Auburn is, you're right. It's a special place. It gives you access to so much outside of it while still being a real central hub for whatever you need. So I just, it's been a great experience hearing that most people we speak to feel similarly, and that's a good thing,
Yes. Like we can be in the middle of it all if we want to be in the middle of it all, but you can also escape and not feel like you're packed in with a million other people, which is definitely not my comfort zone. That's for sure. Anything else that you ladies want to touch on regarding the senior center, age-friendly programming, trips? Anything.
I just want to encourage people, if they've never been by, to come on in and see what we have to offer. I think they'll be pleasantly surprised with all the things that we have going on there.
I second that. Whether it's Renee or myself, just because she is primarily focused on indoor programming and I'm off-site, we can both answer each other's questions. For anybody who happens to come in, we love new ideas from people if they'd like to see something happen, or just a speaker come in, or trips, anything. We always welcome input. And I think we just want everybody to know that they're definitely welcome to come on in, send an email, leave a message, and we would love to talk to them.
Now, are there kind of standard drop-in hours? So if we say, I know you don't necessarily work a typical Monday through Friday job, but City Hall here is open Monday through Friday, 8:30 to 4. If someone were to wander over to the senior center on one of those days, would they find someone there? May they not find someone there? Does it depend?
Yeah, I think the best absolute days for drop-in without an appointment or anything would be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, morning hours.
Okay.
You're going to find someone there. Most, like Mondays and Wednesdays, were there much longer, but as a simple way to say it,
Yeah.
coming by in the morning on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, you'll likely find somebody there to talk to.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
And then we also always put the calendar up on our doors too. So if somebody pops in and the doors happen to be locked or lights are off or anything, they can see when somebody might be around.
Oh,
Awesome.
nice. Perfect. Well, thanks so much for joining us and telling us more about all the fun things that are happening at the Senior Center and with our age-friendly programming. We appreciate it.
Jody, you're going to have to watch out for Jen sneaking on to the
Yeah, I
next
know.
mystery lunch bus.
I might.
I will have a spot for you. Don't worry. We will make it happen if you want to join us.
I know, but then I don't want to take a spot away from someone else.
I'll just add another trip. It's what I do.
Perfect.
Or I could just drive myself and I'll just like join your
Just
party
follow
once
along.
you get there. Yeah. They'll be like, who's tailing us? Thank you, ladies. We appreciate
Thanks
it.
for having us.
Thanks so
Thank you.
much.
Thanks for joining us on Absolutely Auburn. You can find all things Auburn, Maine at auburnmaine.gov and goauburn.me. You can also listen to us anytime, anywhere you get your podcasts, including Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, and iHeartRadio, just to name a few. The City of Auburn's communications team wants to remind you that Absolutely Auburn is the only official podcast for the City of Auburn, Maine.